According to Pete Thamel, could the Gonzaga Bulldogs become a Big 12 member basketball only? We're going to have a conversation about that. We're also going to discuss what history thinks about the subject and whether or not this is something that the Big 12 should do ultimately. Stay tuned.
This is for Cameron.
What is up, college football fans, college basketball fans, Mountaineer Nation, and all those around the country? My name is Mountaineer Paul. Man, we got some news today. So, Pete Thamel reporting the athletic director from Gonzaga Bulldogs, Chris Strandiford, met with Brett Yormark during a scrimmage type situation with Gonzaga, Tennessee. They met in Frisco, Texas to talk about Gonzaga to the Big 12 Conference. Wow. So this could be obviously a seismic shift in the landscape of college basketball. When you think about the Big 12 Conference and what it's done recently, two of the last national champions, men's and women's, almost three in a row on the men's side if you can count an overtime loss in Texas Tech. On the surface, this sounds like a really good play. It really does. But we West Virginia fans may have some keen knowledge that maybe the rest of the Big 12 doesn't have into this situation. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Right here on this Wikipedia page, you'll see it says right here, the unusual structure of the Big East with the football and non-football schools led to instability in the conference. The Big East was one of the most severely impacted conferences during conference realignment of 2005 and the early 2010s. In all, 14 member schools announced their departure for the other conferences. 15 other schools announced plans to join the conference. 8 as all sports members, 4 football only. 3 of the latter group later backed out of their plans to join. 1 for all sports, the other 2 for football only. These waves of defection and replacement revealed tension between football sponsoring and non-football schools and eventually led to a split of the conference in 2013. Very interesting. We used to have a thriving football conference. We had the Miamis of the world, the Virginia Techs of the world, the West Virginias of the world, the Boston Colleges of the world. At some point in time when Boston College was a really competitive team, and others. We loved being the Big East. We had regional rivalries. We had it all. And as West Virginia fans, we were very happy in the Big East. Then conference realignment happened. You got a few teams going here, a few teams going there. Our biggest and best rivals, whether that be Pitt, whether it be Virginia Tech, whether it be Boston College, Miami, they defect and go to the ACC. We're left behind. Out of the rubble, they try to build this conference back. And they tried to use schools that have no potential in football, basketball only schools. What arose out of the situation? A really good basketball conference. The Big East was a really good basketball conference, and it was so similar to the way the Big 12 conference is today. A very physical league, uber athletic league, a league that always had one to two schools that were finishing up there and towards that number 1 seed spot come tournament time. We had UConn that was a perennial power in that conference. You talk about Marquette, UConn, Villanova, Georgetown, really good football schools. UConn being the outlier in those days, they were actually the football program had turned around and became a top 25 program, but they're probably the exception and not the rule in this situation. And so when I think about Gonzaga coming to the Big 12, on the surface, it seems like a really good deal for our basketball side of our league. But what a tangled web this could weave. You keep on adding on teams for basketball only, and you're going to get yourself into a situation not unlike what we just read, where there becomes division amongst football, basketball only members. I'm not saying for sure that this is a bad idea one way or the other, it's haven't really wrapped my mind around it yet. You think about Gonzaga, they are consistently a top five basketball year in and year out. What do you think, Mountaineer fans? What do you think, college basketball fans, college football fans? Do you guys have an opinion on this situation? This was brought up in a quiet manner during the contract talks between the Big 12 and Fox and ESPN. So this is something that all parties are aware of. Not sure where this is going to go, guys. Tell me below in the comments. Do you think this is a good move for the Big 12? Does this move the needle for you at all? I'll be interested to hear what people think about this. I almost failed to mention it is also being reported that Gonzaga has discussed talks with Pac 12 and the Big East. So there's a possibility that either one of those two conferences may end up being a fit for them. But I mean, if they want to play in the best basketball conference, we know where that is. It's going to be the ACC or the Big 12. Let's just keep it right there with that. But obviously, the Big 12 is hoping for this. Talked about getting into that fourth window for viewership. Uh, so maybe this is something he can pull off. And heck, maybe this is something he can do as a one off. As you get a little deeper down in that rabbit hole, I wonder where the conference could go from there. And like I said, we've seen this before, the Big East. So thank you guys for watching in. Really appreciate you guys. We've grown almost 300 subscribers in less than 3 weeks. It's been a fun ride. I really appreciate all the support. If you like college football content, college basketball content, and even on a national scale, I've been sticking to the Big 12 stories here recently, but I would like to move on and do some more national things as well. If you subscribe to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, Basketball, I promise to bring you more stories that you love and will be interested in. This episode is over. Mountaineer Paul is out.
This is for Cameron. Kim.